The only people who don't want to disclose the truth are people with something to hide.
And welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to a very, very special edition of the Hagmann McLeod Report on CFP Radio, being broadcast right now through Blog Talk platform. You're with us on 12 March in the year 2011. We have two very special guests on with us. Retired U.S. military commander Charles F. Kerchner of ProtectOurLiberty.org, and the very renowned and well-respected attorney and patriot, if I might add, Mario Apuzzo. And his blog site is Puzo, Puzo1.blogspot.com. I was just informed, interestingly, we've got a caller from Iowa who wanted his full name known. And I think, if this is who I think it is, I think that we should bring him on right now. Lucas Daniel Smith from Iowa. Can you hear us?
Yes, I can. How are you?
Good. Go ahead with your questions, comments for our guests, Commander Kerchner and Counselor Mario Apuzzo.
Well, I just wanted to call and I wanted to commend Attorney Apuzzo and also Commander Kerchner for their patriotic efforts, and I appreciate all they're doing for the country right now. I don't really have a question.
Thank you, Daniel. Thank you, Lucas.
Thank
you, Lucas. Really appreciate that, and it's an honor, a privilege to have you speaking to the world. You know, it really is. So, did any congressman ever write back to you, Lucas? Did any congressman ever answer you and write back to you for when you submitted a copy of your document to every member of Congress, 535 people?
To date, I received 3 postal letters. I received a letter from Charles Grassley, he's in Iowa, you probably know. Also received another response from a congressman in Iowa, and I can't think of his name off the top of my head. And I also received a response, I don't want to be quoted, but I think it was from somewhere in Vermont. And they were all 3 form letters, although the letter I got from Grassley was pretty detailed. I think it was about 3 pages long. And at first I thought it was a personal letter, but later I found out it was a form letter. Aside from those 3 postal letters, I got a few emails and also 1 phone call. And the phone call.
You get a call from the secret. You get a call from the Secret Service about allegations of forging the president's birth certificate.
No.
So obviously they don't want to call you in. They don't want to get that document vetted because you know what the pattern is here. Nobody wants to look at it seriously because they know the answer. Obama is not eligible, and he probably wasn't born in Hawaii. He was registered there as a birth.
Lucas, are you ready to go and testify before Congress?
Yes, I am, and I have been for the last couple of years. And you know,
to be put under oath, under the penalty of perjury. Are you ready for that?
Yes. And you know,
unbelievable, right?
Our Congress will not call him in. They will not call him in because they know if they lift up the rock, those cockroaches are going to scramble all over. And Lucas is right, and the people are right. And Obama is a usurper. He's a phony. He's a fraud. He's using somebody else's Social Security number. He had the Selective Service registration backdated. The man's a grifter, a fraud. He wasn't born in Hawaii. His grandmother registered him there. And the whole life that his whole nativity story is a fabrication.
Well, Lucas, let me ask you something, if I might. I'm an investigator. Now, the listeners may not know. We know you are the gentleman who produced the birth certificate from Kenya. Is that correct?
Yes.
All right. Are you willing? I mean, how? You just traveled to Kenya and went to the local court, as one would be like courthouse, and obtained the birth certificate via natural means without having to do much of it. I mean, just through regular means.
Well, no, it wasn't anything like that. It's a pretty long story. Originally, I was in Africa to document a different story in the Congo, in the Democratic Republic of the Congo. The only reason I went to to Kenya was to interview a guy that was related to the story that I was documenting. And that's the only reason that I went to Kenya, to Nairobi. And then once I got there, that's when I started hearing about, Barack Obama was born in Kenya. People used to ask me, I'm an American, so I kind of stick out over there. And, people used to ask me, what do you think about a Kenyan governing your country, the United States? And at first I just tell them that, I didn't really think much of that question. I thought they were just referring to his roots or background, especially his father. So at first I answered this, this was back in February of 2009. Obama had only been in office for about a month. So I told him, he hasn't been in office long enough, and I wouldn't really have an official opinion this yet because I'm not sure how, how he's going to govern the country or not. But, throughout talking to people, I finally ascertained that they were actually implying that he was born on Kenyan soil. So that's when I started asking more questions, and finally come to the realization that these people weren't implying that he was a Kenyan because of his father or because of his heritage or anything like that. They were implying he was born on the soil itself of Kenya. And
they were implying it, or did they actually tell you?
Well, yeah, anyone I talked to over there told me he was born over there, and then other people, I investigated further. I asked, well, if he was born there, then what was he born? I mean, everyone's got to know. I mean, if it's that big of a known thing, everyone's got to know. Everyone I talked to that did have an answer, they all told me Coast General Hospital in Mombasa.
Say again where he was born. I heard a ding-a-ling in there when you were talking.
Coast Province General Hospital, and that's located in Mombasa, Kenya.
So gentlemen, Lucas Smith has an allegedly authenticated document, a copy of Barack Hussein Obama's or Barry Soetoro's birth certificate from Kenya. Is that what we're saying here?
Yeah, how did he get it from the hospital? I want to know how he got it from the hospital.
Lucas,
yes.
Question to you: How did you get the birth certificate that you have in your hands? Was it from the hospital? Who gave it to you? How did you get it?
I had to bribe a member of the staff on the administration at Coast Province Hospital, or Coast Province General Hospital.
So you actually had to give money. I mean, when you say bribe, we're talking about a cash payment now to someone. Is that correct?
Yes. And I also had to pay a couple of bribes even to get to that point. The first bribe I paid was for $200 American. The second was for $500 American, and the final, the ultimate, was for $5,000 American.
Where'd you come up with this money, Lucas? $5,000.
Well, I'm going to answer that question for you right now. I worked hard all my life. I'm taking care of myself. I bought my first house when I was 26. I paid $7,500 cash for that, and that's on the record. You can check with the Linn County Recorder at CFP Iowa. So money's not some people say, well, how does this young guy have his money? I think anyone that's 30 years old, if they haven't ever came across $5,000 at least in the one lump sum, I don't know what they were doing with their life. I mean, maybe they weren't working hard enough. In the past,
well, how'd you get $5,000 in cash in Kenya, though? How'd you get that in your hands? I mean, that's dangerous to walk around with $5,000 in cash all over Kenya. Or did you go and get it somehow after you realized you could get this birth certificate, if you could come up with the cash?
Well, that's a good question. Before I left to go to the Congo, I Western Unioned myself 3 different sums of money, or 3 different separate transactions, from my name to my name. Each of those were $4,500 American. And also, when I first got on the plane to go over there, I had about $4,000 with me.
Could you produce receipts of those wire transfers to somebody like Mr. Hagmann or Attorney Apuzzo, showing that you actually did these wire transfers you just revealed?
Yes.
Okay.
Lucas, are you willing to work with Attorney Apuzzo and Commander Kerchner in this in their endeavors here?
Well, Mr. Hagmann, I would prefer you as an investigator to take the lead on that and then feed it to us through you.
All right, let me rephrase it. That's fine. Let me rephrase the question. Lucas, are you willing to deal with me? Contact. I'm a multi-state licensed investigator for 25 years. A relationship, obviously, a client, a privileged relationship would exist. Anything you provide to me would, in fact, be privileged. Mr. Smith, I'll ask you point blank, would you work with me, provide me with documentation to prove what you're telling me, what you're telling us?
If Mario or Puzo, gives me the go-ahead to do that, I'll do that.
Counselor?
Yeah, I think
we're not investigators here, and if Mr. Hagmann
let me explain
the documents, then he
Commander, let me address that.
Okay.
Yeah, let me. He just said if I said something. Okay, now I think I need to speak to Mr. Lucas in private about that. If he's looking for my advice on that.
Okay, then here's what we're going to do, gentlemen. And this is historic, folks. Mr. Smith, I want to thank you for calling in. What I'd like you to do is contact me via email or by phone. My telephone numbers are on the website. My website, which is HomelandSecurityUS.com. You got to this show via somehow, and you'll find my contact information. I will work with Attorney Apuzzo after talking with you. How's that sound? We'll develop a rapport, a relationship.
I so from reading Mario's blog, Attorney Apuzzo's blog. I'm gonna go through him. I'm gonna let you talk to him first, and then I'll let Mario talk. Well, I'd like to talk with Mario about it first, but before I go any further, I'm definitely gonna get advice from Attorney Apuzzo before I call you.
Okay, well, I'm from Mr. Apuzzo's blog. He's got his contact information. Certainly, you can contact him.
I know how to contact him.
Yeah, and follow his advice. I would strongly suggest that. He will not steer you wrong.
Of course, the ball's in Lucas's court now. Attorney Apuzzo, if I may sort of volunteer my opinion of what I heard, he's not going to contact you, Lucas. You got to contact him.
Who, Apuzzo or who?
Yes, contact Attorney Apuzzo, Lucas.
Yeah, so he'll contact me.
Okay. Yeah.
Very good. Lucas, thank you very much for your call.
The only people who don't want to disclose the truth are people with something to hide.